All right, so Mrs. Hopewell and Mrs. Freeman, we're picking up with Carly's question I just mentioned. I've left the barn. Mrs. Hopewell and Mrs. Freeman were in the back pasture digging up onions. They saw him emerge a little later from the woods and head across the pasture. "Why, that's that nice, dull man that tried to sell me a Bible yesterday," Mrs. Hopewell said, squinting. "He must have been selling them to the Negroes back there. He was so simple," she said. "But I guess the world would be better off if we were all that simple." Mrs. Freeman's gaze drove forward and just touched him before he disappeared under the hill. Then she returned her attention to the evil-smelling onion shoot she was lifting from the ground. "Some can't be that simple," she said. "I know I never could." This is a great story because so much of fiction thinks that being educated and sophisticated is important, and so many people think that, and it's good. But Mrs. Hopewell is the smartest one in this. Mrs. Freeman is the smartest one in this story. And she seems simple, right? She's all forward or reverse. She's got her little sayings. "Oh, I say so myself." She agrees with Mrs. Mrs. Hopewell's sayings. So Mrs. Freeman, who's quite free, she doesn't own any land, she kind of plays the part of this simple person. But no one is that simple. No one is simple. Do you understand the importance of understanding this? You may think someone is simple, but there's a lot going on inside of everyone. There's a lot going on inside of everyone. And if you start saying good country people and oh, they're just simple people, you're going to wind up getting your legs stolen by a Bible salesman. So, good question there, Carly, about the end. When she says, she can never be that simple. She couldn't. No one can be that simple. No one can be that simple. So it's a great, great story. Good country people. Flannery O'Connor is just an absolutely terrific writer. She died way too young. Kind of similar to Joy Hulga. She got very sick after going off to college and becoming a good writer. She came down with, I believe, lupus. And she had to move back with her mother on her farm, though I think she was much more, she wasn't quite like Joy Hulga is in the story. And it might not surprise you, but I've actually visited the farm. It's in Milledgeville, Georgia. One time I was down there, and it was absolutely fascinating. I'm going to try to work some pictures in here at the end to show you the farm. And I actually saw the barn, that Flannery O'Connor's barn, where she probably imagined Hulga being left up in the loft. And there was a really great tour guide there. He didn't really know a whole lot, but he was a real nice young man. He probably good country people, huh? And they have really bad curatorial policies, so I got to hold Flannery O'Connor's meat saw and one of her little wine glasses. And it was very Southern. It was a lot of characters. Characters are bigger in the South, in fiction and in reality. And they had peacocks. Flannery O'Connor loved to raise peacocks. And there was a 6-foot black snake in the peacock pen, and ate the peacock eggs every day. And we told the people at the house, we said, "Hey, there's a 6-foot black snake out there." And they said, "Oh, that's Frank. Yeah, he's a rat snake. He keeps the rat population down, and he eats the peacock eggs." Yeah, so it was really a perfect place to feel Flannery O'Connor. I can't say as I learned a lot, but I really felt her being at her house in Milledgeville, especially knowing this story. It made it all the more special.